The best of Money Matters. The Big Story.
Welcome to The Big Story. I'm your host, Hongbing Jeong. Now, for the first time since 1972, independent candidates turned out to be more popular during Singapore's general elections. During GE2025, we saw prominent independent candidates who stepped up to the plate within the political landscape in order to try and win the votes of the people. One of them is Jeremy Tan. Now, he made headlines during this year's election as an independent candidate who captured national attention with his bold campaign in Mountbatten SMC. A former businessman and retiree, he won 36.16% of the vote, the highest share for an independent in the constituency in over 50 years, and sparked conversations with his policies. And the man himself joins us today to share more about what it takes or what it was like to participate in GE 2025 independently and to tell us what's next for him as he continues to engage Singaporeans beyond the ballot box. Jeremy Tan, the independent candidate who ran for Mountbatten SMC during GE 2025. Welcome to the show, Jeremy.
Thank you for having me, Hongbin.
Thank you so much for joining us. Jeremy, you garnered 36.16% of the vote, not only the highest for an independent in Mountbatten, but the highest vote share for an independent candidate overall in the last 53 years. I mean, you definitely created history with your independent candidacy this GE 2025. So what were your immediate thoughts and emotions upon seeing the final vote count and the level of support you received? Was the result something that, you had expected to see when you first decided to run as an independent candidate?
So I think I'm on record, Mothership, in a video interview saying that I expected about 35% of vote share. And the last swing is what I'll really try to go for. Right inside the polling center, because you cannot use your phone as the counting was going on, I was starting to feel a bit like, oh, maybe I am in line with my expectations and not exceeding my expectations, because I had expected a 15% swing upwards. But once I was done with the observation of the counting process, I stepped out and took a look at my handphone, because you can't use your phone inside, right? And people already congratulating me on the sample count. And, we also had got the notice of the other opposition party's performance. And I was like, oh, it's actually not that bad. Yeah. And towards the end of the night, I think, or was it the day after, we caught wind that Mountbatten had a 12.2% absenteeism turnout. That means that I kind of made a record in the PAP's second strongest constituency and also with their absenteeism. So I would say very much pleased with the efforts that I put up. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's take it step back a bit. But what inspired you to run as an independent candidate in the first place?
Yes. So I think going back from where I started as a kid, I always thought that, hey, I needed more help from the government because I was dealing with poverty and the PAP needs to do more. And then as I got older and I started my business, I'm like, wait a minute, the people need to do more. And then as I get older again, I'm like, no, actually both of us need to do more together. And that's how I got started with it. And also looking into the research of why people are, having inadequacy for their retirement and looking at the issue of the HDB lease decay. That one's personal for me as well, as my parents have a flat that, can be listed for sale, but nobody really is able to buy it because it's past 50 years. So that made me look at the overall policies that are intertwined and are connected via various schemes, and that made me realize that we are looking at politics in the wrong direction. And within the establishment itself, I think they are starting to realize that the HDB and the CPF policies that they brought up a long, long time ago may be looking in the wrong direction. And that's why I started thinking seriously about running.
Right. So it really came from a personal level first for you to decide to run as a candidate here. But what lessons have you taken away from this election campaign? Was there anything you would have done differently during your campaign looking back?
Yeah, so I think that there were two experiences that we all, as the opposition, tried to fight very hard, which is stigma. The first stigma was that there were people that believed that voting the opposition in May would leave them ineligible for vouchers in June. That was the first one. There are also people that are looking for financial aid at the Meet the People session, and something like a GRC would see cases like that to a tune of 50 over cases a month. That's like $600,000 cost for the GRC. So they would presume immediately that this money is PAP's money, but it's really taxpayers' money.
Right.
And lastly, I think voter secrecy was quite a problem. So going to the next election, I would try to work with some cryptography people to see how we can propose for electoral change.
Well, people all over social media praised you for being authentic, especially when you did your rally speech. In fact, your rally was the first time since 2015 that an independent candidate has held a rally. How did you approach connecting with voters on a personal level, and how did you remain authentic?
Yeah, actually, the 2015 independent rally, I was the heckler at the rally. So, yeah, for the listeners. I don't think you need to try to be authentic if you've done the homework and you are basically a child of Singapore, right? Having grown up, in poverty, in difficult situations, and also having to manage and navigate the Singaporean system. Creating a pathway outside of the regular 9-to-5 Singaporean system was something I did naturally because I just didn't fit into the regular mold anyway. So I just did things differently. So I guess the authenticity comes from the fact that I've been doing this my whole life. I've just been doing things differently. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's also been reported that you have appealed to the Workers' Party to let you have a non-constituency member of the Parliament or NCMP seat, as two of it have gone to the best losing candidates from Jalan Kayu SMC and Tampines GRC. Have you received any response or updates since then, and how do you see this developing?
I think they have 7 days from the polling day to formally accept. What's going on in Jalan Kayu is a little thorny right now. Maybe a by-election might be called if something really happens. And then we have to also consider the fact that the NCMP scheme, it's if the Workers' Party does choose to accept the NCMP scheme, it's a lot of work that doesn't. It's like the full-time MP scheme, but really you're going out there and you're getting paid lesser, and there are different duties out there. So, and people are complaining about whether or not we're entering a two-party system. So I think it might be in the Workers' Party's interest to seat one of the seats at least to either Mr. Chi or Dr. Paul Tambaya, and we'll go from there. And I think with the most updated count, I think the PSP would also be ahead of me. So I think quite far away right now.
All right. Yeah. Well, without a doubt, you've been called an evolving profile by many political analysts over the course of GE2025. Now, this is mainly due to how well you did in the polls as an independent candidate, alongside your ability to put your views coherently. So given your latest performance in GE2025, do you think we could see you again in the political scene for the next GE?
I would say that it's more likely than not, given that Marine Parade Braddell Heights had no contest, and that's where I reside in, looking for plans to see how I can work with different parties and to speak with them to see how they can work on actually getting this done in Marine Parade Braddell Heights. No concrete plans for now, and all the chats they're right now just really about licking our wounds and seeing how we can recover from what just happened to all of us.
Right. Well, are you then currently in talks with other political parties, or will you be remaining as an independent candidate if you do run in the next GE?
Yeah, I guess we are in very casual talks, and it's nothing concrete at this point. It's just really about a pulse check, because there are many moving parts, and 5 years is a very long but also a very short time. So everybody does not want to make a rash decision right now. Everybody wants to look around and just see what the options are.
Right. Well, the next general election, as you said, is going to be in the next 5 years. It's slated to be held by 2030 here in Singapore. So in the meantime, we would like to know how you'll be spending your next 5 years. So candidates, you were required to pay a deposit of 13,500 Sing dollars. And to have this deposit refunded, a candidate must secure at least 12.5% of the valid votes cast in their constituency, which means you are entitled to a full refund of your election deposit. And I think many Singaporeans will be curious, how or what are you planning on doing with it?
I don't know how to shop actually. The last time I bought anything on Shopee and Lazada was a year ago. I've not bought delivery from Deliveroo or Foodpanda for a year as well. So I'll just buy food for my dogs. Yeah. What would I do for the next 5 years? I would definitely study the voter data. I'll definitely look at campaigning for other issues such as the rise of autism, shingles, multiple sclerosis, looking also at mental health and looking at transport and the architectural transformation. But I'll also be looking very intently at institutional Bitcoin adoption. I believe yesterday you had a guest on that also spoke roughly about this. And I think that's where my passion will lie, because I'm very serious about making sure that we have inflation-proof CPF assets. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's also been reported that you tend to use your newfound platforms on social media to engage with Singaporeans on local and national issues. Could you share how you envision using these platforms meaningfully to foster dialogue and drive change?
Yes, because I think as an independent candidate and with no party affiliation, with none of the baggage that parties bring, I would be able to galvanize people from different parts of Singapore to actually do fundraising efforts. One thing that we saw very prominently in this GE was the distribution of eggs, ordinary necessities, and all of those things factor into the voter sentiment during the election. So I'll be looking at how the opposition parties and independent candidates like myself can actually go and work on expanding that effort. Yeah, so that would be, the things I'll be working on.
Now, some of the issues you want to address, reportedly, is the rise of autism and pets on public transport. Why would you like to focus on these issues specifically?
I think because, so with autism, I think we are having a crunch in terms of lacking of facilities to take care and actually include people, neurodivergence into society in a more meaningful way. So that is actually a reported crunch, something like the admissions are a very long time. And with pets as well, right? You can have a policy that emulates Hong Kong and only on certain train lines, only on certain cars, and you must have a license and, there are rules around it. It can be done. I think it's also because if we want a more inclusive and a more happier society, then I think talking about pets and less seeing the options would be a good way forward. Yeah.
All right. Are there any other issues you'd like to address as well?
I think right now I'm more focused on making sure that Bitcoin is adopted well by our institutions, and that our country does not lag behind in terms of financial independence and also being secure. So I've been talking to different people about advancing this cause. Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, just a few days ago, you made a post on LinkedIn, which has now gone viral, in which you said, "LOL, failed job interview yesterday." And this post has since received 6.5K reactions and lots of reposts on LinkedIn. So we want to know, are you really open for another job opportunity? And do you think your appearance during GE2025 has made it harder for you to find work here in Singapore? Or, did you receive any job offers since that post?
I'm having a few talks. So I think primarily if people are interested in pushing more Bitcoin adoption, I think they are interested in speaking to me. Of course, I made it as a joke, but people also, they texted me and be like, haha, it's a joke, right? Right? And I told them, it depends on where you are. And I think it's important that, we push for things that we really will see benefits for Singaporeans, that will see benefits for Singaporeans. So that's the kind of things that I'm looking out for right now. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end of our interview here. So as you reflect on this journey and look ahead, what message would you like to leave with the voters of Mountbatten as well as all Singaporeans?
I don't want Singaporeans and residents of Mountbatten to have a defeatist feeling. I hope they work hard with whoever was their elected MP to, deliver the better future for them. And, in 5 years' time, the dog will return.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy, for joining me today.
Thank you, Hongbing.
Thank you. That was Jeremy Tan, the independent candidate who ran for Mountbatten SMC in GE2025. This has been The Big Story with me, Hongbing Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.